This is my 5-year-old OnePlus 8 Pro, and it took a bigger beating than you did from your dad. This thing was an absolute beast. 1440p, 120Hz, AMOLED screen, triple cameras, good design, wireless charging, fast charging. Wait a second, this phone has everything that a 2025 flagship would have. So this got me thinking, why are we upgrading? What's actually changing? And what if I just took this phone and used it for a while? What would I be missing out on? Obviously, I'm missing like 20% of the screen, but that's besides the point. And believe it or not, there's actually something that I like more about this phone than my current phone, the OnePlus 12, that came out last year. So let's start by actually looking at the phone. So, as I showed you, it's taken a beating. I first cracked it here. No clue how I did that. And then when I was running for the bus, I dropped it again and there was a little crack here. And it was peeling just a tiny bit. So, my big brain was like, what if I just peel it a tiny bit more? And then the whole screen just started leaking and I was like, wow, what an idiot. And I just realized that I haven't updated this phone in a long time and it's still on Android 11. And the first thing that I'm noticing, it's how is it so smooth? Like, all the menus are perfect. I'm going to Google News, not a single lag, settings, everything is instant. I'm opening Google Photos. It's so buttery smooth, it actually makes no sense. But I think it's time I upgrade to Android 13, which is the max version, and see if anything changes. So right now, it's on Android 13, and we are on 15, 16, so am I missing out on anything? So obviously, I go for the most reliable source, ChatGPT. My OnePlus 8 Pro, oh my god. Am I missing out on anything if I'm not able to upgrade? Security, I don't really care. Battery tweaks, AI, smart features, nope, UI design tweaks, I don't care. App compatibility, and games. So maybe it's just the apps. Let's see what apps are not compatible. Super new apps or features that specifically require 14, some bleeding edge. This is useless, okay? I think I need to download basically every app myself and figure out if I'm missing anything. Instagram works completely fine with no lags. The Blackmagic camera app wasn't compatible, but then it doesn't work with like half the phones, so I don't know what's going on there. But then I had a different problem. Now this is slightly unrelated, but in the Filmic Pro app, if I select the ultra wide, it actually uses the telephoto, and then in the normal lens, it still uses the telephoto but slightly more zoomed in, and then the telephoto lens crops in twice on the telephoto, so that's completely broken now. And then if I go to the Motion Pro camera app, the only lens I have is the main lens, so I think updating this phone kind of cooked it, I'm not gonna lie. But again, I think that's just the OnePlus problem. But then my work app worked, and my banking app also worked, so I think in terms of apps, we're good. But then I noticed something creepy. What the hell? This phone just decides to have random seizures throughout the day, which is probably what happens after you're abused like that. 2020 is the year that this phone came out. It was also the pandemic year, but it was also the year that technology was moving really quickly. It was the year that we got the first Ultra phone from Samsung with 8K video and 108 megapixels. Flagships were just starting to get high refresh rate screens, and we've only had one foldable at this point. Huawei just got banned and 5G was just starting to become a thing. And ChatGPT and even most of the AI stuff wasn't even a thing back then. So for this phone to come out and give us basically everything made it really special. It really felt like phones were changing with hardware without any AI stuff. And back then, iPhones were really behind because they didn't have USB-C or customization or like anything. They didn't even have OLED screens on their base models. What? One thing that I really want to try avoid doing is just reading the spec list and comparing all the numbers. Screw all the numbers. How does the phone actually feel? Okay, let me show you some numbers. So I took this phone outside and something unbelievable just happened. I got sunlight in the UK. And you know what? I took this thing outside, had one good look, and you know what? The brightness is enough. It's really not that big of a difference. You see, companies are advertising completely ridiculous numbers nowadays. Like, take a look at the OnePlus 13. It has an LTPO 4.1 Dolby Vision HDR10 Plus HDR Vivid. It's 800 nits manual, 1600 nits outside, and then 4